Good evening. My name is Danielle Boudreau. I am the agency rulemaking coordinator for the Department of State Lands and will be serving as today's hearing officer. Today is March 15th, 2023, and the time is 6 p.m. The public rule hearing is now in session for Division 90 of Chapter 141 of the Oregon Administrative Rules. This meeting is being recorded to maintain a permanent record. Tonight, I'm joined by the other two members of our Division 90 rulemaking team. Could you please introduce yourselves at this time?
Hello, everyone. My name is Peter Ryan. I'm the Aquatic Resource Specialist at the Department of State Lands, and I led the proposed rulemaking process.
Lynn, you're muted.
My name is Lynn McAllister. I'm a jurisdictional coordinator at DSL, and I've been on the rules committee to develop the new rules.
All right, thank you. The purpose of this evening's meeting is twofold. We will begin with the 30-minute information session, followed by the public rule hearing for the administrative rules for wetland delineation report requirements and for jurisdictional determinations for the purpose of regulating fill and removal within waters of this state. If we finish before the 30 minutes, we're going to move on to our next portion. During the information session, Pete will provide an overview of the proposed rules, which will be followed by a question and answer session. Once that is concluded, we will begin the public rule hearing. Please note that during the rule hearing, the department will not be answering any questions or responding to comments. This meeting will conclude when all participants who wish to comment have finished. For tonight's meeting, we have some protocols for our Zoom meeting. If you would like to ask a question, we ask that you raise your hand. And in order to raise your hand, if you're joining via your computer, you'll click the reactions icon near the bottom of your screen and click raise hand. If you're on the phone, please press *9. Participants will be called in the order in which hands are raised. We ask that you please keep your mic muted unless it is your turn to speak. Please be respectful of each other and DSL representatives. If there are numerous participants who wish to speak, time will be limited to 3 minutes per person in order to accommodate each participant. At this time, we'll be limiting comments to 5 minutes. And if we have a large number of people who wish to comment, we will change that to 3 minutes. If you need technical support, please message us in the chat. All right, Pete, I'll go ahead and turn this over to you now.
Okay, hi again, everyone. My name is Peter Ryan, and I'm going to kind of do a very quick overview of the proposed rule changes we're asking for. Okay, next slide. Okay, why did we do this? Why did we need the rules to be updated? The proposed rulemaking will ensure information submitted to the department is sufficient and complete, clarifying processes for property owners, consultants, and department staff. The proposed changes include updating technical requirements and standards for reports, a phased-in requirement for requesting GIS data, and replacing an expired portion of the rule that provided a dispute resolution process for jurisdictional determinations with a new process that will allow applicants to request an appeal decision from the department's director. Next slide. Okay, again, the reasons for updating the Division 90 rules, they were last updated in 2013, so it's been over 10 years since they were updated. And these rules are very important because they provide the technical information necessary for removal fill permitting. And it's important to have the best information available. And then these rules had a lot of old stuff in them that needed cleanup and edits. Next slide. Some examples of the proposed rule changes that we're asking for: to remove all references to the independent review panel. And per Oregon law, that law sunsetted on January 2nd of 2022, so it had to be removed from the rule. And we are adding new requirements, or proposing to add new requirements for identifying, describing, and mapping coordinate wetland classifications, HGM wetland classifications, aquatic resources of special concern types, and compensatory wetland mitigation sites. We are also again proposing to add the new requirements for submitting GIS data for delineation mapping. And we've added some new definitions to the definition section. And again, we're editing and cleaning up language throughout the rule. Okay, some specific examples for new definitions. We now have a definition for aquatic resources of special concern. We have one for fill and one for removal. We have one for GIS, Geographic Information Systems. We have one for SWI, the Statewide Wetlands Inventory, and we have one for uplands, among others. For edits, some examples are we're substituting the words tax lot for parcel, and we're substituting statewide wetland inventory for other inventories we referenced in the past. We're changing the use of the word accuracy to precision because it made more sense to most people. And we're adding an additional reason for rejecting a report. Now we have plenty of time for questions about kind of the changes to the rules that some of you guys might have. And this will be followed by the comment section after that. And then to raise your hand, just raise your hand if you have a question. And I guess I'm seeing Karen has her hand up.
Yes, Karen has her hand up.
I was going to turn my video on. Here we go. Thank you for that quick review, and thanks for having this meeting. I had a quick question about the GIS requirements. I read through them today, and I wasn't really clear. Is it going to apply to all maps in a wetland delineation or just the wetland waters map?
Primarily, it is essentially the delineation map, the final figure 6 or whatever you're calling it, but it's that map. Yeah. We just want the data in that type of format.
Right. And then that's my second question. Then I'm noticing you're including the statewide wetland inventory. And then I noticed that are you wanting to pull in existing delineations into that statewide wetland inventory?
Exactly. That's the goal. The goal is to get this information from consultants and then share it with consultants and the public from here on out.
Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. I'm glad you're doing this. Thank you.
Are there other questions?
And just as a reminder, during our comment session, we will not be accepting any questions or answering any questions. So if you have any questions about the proposed rules or implementation of that, now is the time to go ahead and ask. We'll give like another minute or two in case anybody has any questions that they think of in the meantime. Okay, seeing no further questions at this time, we'll go ahead and move forward. Thank you, Pete. At this time, we will begin the public rule hearing portion of this evening's meeting. If you wish to provide an oral comment, please raise your hand now and we will call on you in the order in which hands are raised. To raise your hand, click the reactions near the bottom of your screen and click raise hand, or by pressing *9 if you're on the phone. We ask that you remain muted until you are called. Participants will be limited to 5 minutes to present their comments. If you have written material to enter into the record, please say so and try to summarize your comments. And for the record, please clearly state your name and affiliation before providing comment. As a reminder, the department will not be answering questions or responding to comments during the rule hearing. If you wish to provide written comment, we will share the methods to submit those. So if you have any comments about the proposed rules, go ahead and raise your hand now. We'll give it another minute or two. All right, seeing that we don't have any comments at this time, I'll go ahead and provide the information for written comments. So written comments may be submitted one of three ways through March 31st at 5 p.m. And written comments can be submitted by email at dsl.rules@dsl.oregon.gov. We have also an online form on our proposed, we have the link here. And we'll be posting this presentation along with the recording to our website. But if you go to our proposed rules page, there is a link that you can click to get to the form to submit a rule comment. Or if you wish, you can submit your written comments by mail to the Oregon Department of State Lands, 775 Summer Street Northeast, Suite 100, Salem, Oregon, 97301. And at this time, I would just like to offer anybody the opportunity to provide an oral comment if they have one that they've thought of in the past 5 minutes. All right, on behalf of the department, I would like to thank you for attending this evening's meeting and for participating, showing up as participating, so we appreciate that. And once the proposed rules have been approved by the department's executive director, Director Walker, we will file the rules with the Secretary of State for an effective date of June 1st, 2023. At this time, I hereby close the public hearing on the proposed rules for the Division 90 Administrative Rules for Wetland Delineation Report Requirements and for jurisdictional determinations for the purpose of regulating fill and removal within waters of this state. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.